Hello.
Hello.
It's
We are
8 o'clock.
live.
It always occurs to me, like, we say 8 o'clock. I'm like, we don't say 8 o'clock, 8.00.00, right? We say, I'm like, we say 8.00.27, you know? That would still be 8 o'clock, right?
It's still 8 o'clock, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah. So, hello, everybody. How are you?
Welcome to Immersion into Source.
Chat on the side there for us. And yes, Wendy is incognito today.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
So when she talks, she gets a black screen.
Yeah,
It
and
hasn't happened for you before.
no, it
It's a little
hasn't. And
weird.
you know what else is weird is that my chat room's not on my screen here either. It's just on the other page. So something is wonky.
Well, everybody's talking about some kind of weird astrological thing going on right now. So maybe
Yeah, I'm so sad that it is so cloudy out. A little while ago, I went outside to see if I could see the moon. Excuse me. And it was really cool because even though it's cloudy, there was little breaks in the cloud, and you could just see this
It was
thing
glorious last night.
beaming.
We got to bathe in it last night. That was
I know,
wonderful.
that was awesome. Well, you know, after I left you all and I was home, I went out a little later because, like I said, I was having a very difficult time going to sleep. And the clouds had moved in, but there was a red ring around it. So that was cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I found something. So we were burning last night. We wanted to be out in the moon, but we were burning. Each of us had a strength, a fear, and a value.
Right.
I found somebody's value this morning laying around.
Oh, no.
Like, oh, that one didn't get shipped off to the universe, but the universe understands. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we will too. Yeah. Well, you know what? Somebody said last night too, I guess when they burned something one time, that there was one word that didn't burn.
Yeah, I was sharing that. It wasn't me that did it. It was somebody else.
Okay. Well, then when we were burning stuff, somebody said, I wonder if there'll be something that doesn't burn.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in this case, everything, that stuff burned really well.
Yeah.
It had never been put into the bowl to get burned, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah. All right. Tonight we're doing ancient Egyptians.
Yes.
Kind of interesting because presumably they knew about astrology. And they sure knew about a lot of stuff. So that we're having this wonkiness right now. Maybe it's no coincidence that we're talking about them tonight. Okay, but first we're going to do the healing thing and the healing thing.
The healing thing. Well, it is a thing. Yeah.
Oh, Shannon says there's a picture when you talk. Okay, so they don't get the black screen.
Right. Of me and my daughter.
Yeah, just I get the black screen. So, oh well, that's good. At least it's better than a black screen because I tell you the black screen's a little disconcerting. All right. Okay. The healing thing, the immersion into source. That's the healing thing. You're swimming in source soup. And to do that, we'd like you to be comfortable. Lie down if you can. At least, and if you can't lie down, then just be relaxed in your chair or your hammock on the beach. Wouldn't it be nice to be doing this on the beach?
Oh my gosh, yes. Maybe someday.
Yep. Close your eyes, relax, let your mind drift. It's going to be silent. You won't hear me talking. You won't hear Wendy talking. My prayer and everything that I do is going to be in silence. And I'm going to then be centered as best as I can and allow things to flow. And somehow that just flows out to everybody on the call live and those that watch it again on YouTube. So hello, YouTube people. Are we ready to go? Is anybody
We're ready. No
Will
questions.
we get going? Okay.
Let's get going.
Let's go. Hello.
Hi. Welcome back.
Okay. Yeah. How are you?
Good. That was
Okay.
nice and mellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you able to hear my neighbor sawing or whatever he's doing over there?
No, usually I can hear your neighbor, but I didn't hear today.
Yeah.
That's
I just
weird.
find it interesting. I'm like, when the kids are outside playing or whatever, in the neighborhood, I think, oh, how pretty that is. Or there's a dog barking. I thought, okay, well, that must be, an attention, a hello to somebody or something,
Yeah.
He's sawing. I'm like, huh, what could that possibly mean?
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I started off seeing the moon in various places, like in various stages. It was kind of cool because it made me think about a conversation I had last night about how, we were looking at the moon, about how so many people in the world saw that moon.
Uh-huh.
And then I just felt like I was in the arms of my guardian angel, going to sleep. All right. So
Yeah.
that was sweet. So if any of you want to share your experiences, please write them down, and I would love to read them to everybody and share it. And if you don't want to share it, that's okay too. That's
Yeah.
okay.
It's all good.
So
It's
we're
all good. Everything is always exactly perfect.
that's right.
And, we were talking about that today. We had our butterfly experience healing retreat this weekend, so that's what we're referring to about what we were doing this weekend. And yeah, I remember when with the conversation. That's the funky thing about butterfly. It's always like, the other day, we're like, okay, we just got here on Friday, so time gets all confused.
It really does.
Today, Kathy was saying, "Oh, yesterday it just gets all you can't figure out what's what day it gets." But anyways, at some point over our weekend, we were talking about how we don't make mistakes, how it's all part of the learning, and it's all correct, it's all as it should be, and that really. Oh, that's interesting. It just your comment just showed up on your picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm finding that for me, like I used to feel that I had regrets. So I regret this or that or whatever, or I can't forgive myself for this, or I don't know how I'm ever going to overcome that. And now I've really started cutting myself a lot of slack, and that feels good. Like I can be rough on other people, but I'm really rough on myself, and I have a lot easier time forgiving other people or going, oh well, you did the best that you could. I it's so easy to do that for somebody else, but for myself, I'm like, oh man, gosh, why did I do that, or how stupid was I, or how this. But I've started to go, it's okay. It's a whole new thing. Do you do that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know exactly what you're talking about.
Gosh, why did it take this long for me to figure that one out?
Well, I think because it's harder to see ourselves, and to be kind to ourselves.
Yeah, but why? Why?
I don't know.
You're supposed to love yourself. Well, I guess it comes with loving yourself, and that's
Right.
a tough one too.
We're not.
Okay, so we're way off of the ancient Egyptian topic.
I know. We're not taught that.
And it was my fault. I got us distracted. So, okay, let's do Egyptian.
I have a comment.
Okay.
And I want to say it, and then we'll jump in. But she says, I saw variations of the X shapes. Then it kind of softened, and I saw an hourglass that formed from the X shape, and then a butterfly. How cool is that?
X shapes and hourglasses and butterflies. It's something to do with confusion. There being confusion and unknowns, which obviously, not obviously, but, similar to like in algebra, x equals, you got to discover what x is. And then, that time will, resolve those answers. Yeah, so whoever that is, if they've got any confusion going on, they hear ya. They got ya.
Okay, ancient Egyptians.
Okay.
Were the Egyptians actually very advanced in their technology?
Yes and no. We would have a rough time, I think, calling it technology, because when you say the word technology in this society, we think of gizmos and gadgets, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
They didn't need the gizmos and gadgets that we use. So they're very advanced, but they didn't need it was more, with mind and mind over matter, and
But,
like our technology, they didn't have all that plastic garbage, you know what I mean?
right.
They didn't have the gas. It was more simple. They were able to use things that we would think of as being very low tech to do very advanced things.
I'll tell you where that question came from. When we went to go see the Golden Pyramid.
Yes.
And we were going into the tomb.
Yes.
And the leader of the group, our host, said, why can't we imagine a society that was so advanced that they used, say, electronics to keep all their history in? What the way he said it made me think of laptops and iPads, wireless. So then I was like, well, really, were they that advanced? Because when you look at pictures or, like the hieroglyphics, it doesn't seem like they were.
No cords to trip over.
Right. Yeah. Like, where's electricity?
Right. Yeah. So, well, then that answer does that.
Right.
That totally fits. I missed that portion. I think you and I drove up, and then I don't know why I was like, I couldn't hear him well, or I was with you. So
yeah.
But I remember, like, when I finally realized what he was talking about, I was like, man, I wish I would have heard that whole conversation. Plus, we got I don't know. Anyway, we missed. Wow. I love to pick that guy's brain.
Yes. Oh my gosh, he knows a lot of things. So here's the $1 million question: how are the pyramids built?
Ooh. You just throw that one at me. So it feels like they're manually put together, manually, the blocks manually slid in. It feels like really tall beings. So I don't literally tall beings, or assistance from, feels like they were like human-sized beings and they were bigger beings. Which makes sense because, all around the globe they have found skeletons of bigger beings. So I guess that would make sense. Okay, hold on. So now I'm trying to figure, I'm asking about the precision, because, they're so precisely cut.
Right.
It feels like it is precision cut, but there's also some kind of, I don't know if fusion is the right word, but there's some kind of, like, when you put the two blocks together at that joint, there's like a, not a melting, but they kind of align with each other. Like the molecules or whatever kind of go, okay, we are, it's nothing like melting or anything. It's more of an alignment. I can't think what other word that would be.
Did they do that with sound?
Huh?
Did they do that with sound?
Wow. You know,
so
I should check every time after the healing. My hands are so hot. But I put them together. Wow. Whew. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Did they do that with sound? Is it possible to move things or fuse things with sound?
Yeah, but I don't. Yes, they could. It's possible, but I think that for that, no, it wasn't sound. It was more. You ever, people that do craniosacral work?
Yes.
They use the terminology that they invite the spine to relax. They invite the bones to align. You ever hear them talk about that? It's along those lines. It's like they invite the thing to move. They invite it's more of a connecting with it, which is interesting because just the other day I was thinking, there's no reason that I can't, for me not to be able to flip that light switch. That wasn't exactly what I was thinking about. Whatever, some physical thing. There's no reason that I could not, that I'm not able to, from where I'm sitting, mentally get something to happen over there. There's no reason that I couldn't, except that I don't believe that I can. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if I could believe that I could, and obviously I need a little practice and you need to build that muscle, there's no reason you couldn't. So if you're if you're really good at it, you could move mountains. I mean, there's no reason that you couldn't.
Okay, so we have a question now. If they use slave labor to assist in the building, if it was slaves.
No. No, it was there's talking about the good of all. It was like a community thing. Like they knew that what they were building was for the good of all, so it doesn't feel like slave.
Awesome.
Because I'm like looking to see, and no, it's not part of it. So that's nice.
Yeah. So I'd really like to know the real reason why they mummified the bodies.
A misunderstanding. Hold on. It's a misunderstanding of the afterlife. I'm like, well, was it respect for the body? They're like, no, it was a misunderstanding. Like they didn't get it. What they thought they were going to use that again.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
So that was like another advancement to me, like in the thinking and what they did. Like, how could they possibly know that what they were doing was actually going to work? Right. To a degree, yeah. Because who was around to say, hey, and unwrap it, 75 years later and go, whoa, check it out,
Right. Yeah.
So,
I gotta say, my hands are still hot.
Yeah, I'll be interested to know if it's like that on a regular weekend or if it's just because of everything, like the whole weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
All right. Okay. That's okay. I really just have one other question. So you guys, if you have questions out there, this is the time to get them noted on in the chat room. But how did they get all their information? Is it just was it passed on?
So they're showing like there are beings from other planets, but they also had some kind of like communication, like satellite, some kind of they were in communication with elsewhere.
Okay, that makes sense. I've always thought that anyway.
Oh, you have? Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were, how cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
We think it's cool that we can talk to somebody in Australia. I think it's cool that I can pick up the phone and look at this. How cool is this? You're at your house, I'm at my house.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized I left a mess on my thing.
Oh wow.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know. There's no other questions in there, but I have one more. I have one more real quick one though. So if they were in communication with out there and they had satellites and that's how they got their information and their stories, did they help them build the pyramids too?
Yes.
All right.
I said that there was there was some there. There was some other beings there, and then they were in communication with
I was just thinking, what caught my attention the first time around was the big guys, like giants.
Yeah. There's so many fascinating things about our history, and the giants thing is something in up through in the 1800s and even into the 1900s in this country, in the United States, in the newspaper all the time. Not like every day, but because they kept finding all these sites with very, very, very tall skeletons, and now, and the Smithsonian kept going and getting them. And the Smithsonian, the understanding is that because remember the late 1800s, Darwin had come out with his theory of evolution, and people jumped on that. They jumped on board on that, even though Darwin himself was like, I'm not really sure. This is just a maybe. And now they're really understanding that it really isn't as true. It's not as quite literal as we seem to take it. But the point is, everybody jumped on board. So we have a mindset of what our history is. Well, when you throw in these very tall beings, that throws the whole theory out of whack.
Right.
The Smithsonian would go to research it, but then they would take the skeletons away, and then nobody ever heard of them again. And apparently, like if you call the Smithsonian or go to the Smithsonian and ask about those skeletons, they deny that they have them. Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, so it's what harm could it be? What harm is there in there being taller beings on this planet? Who?
Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't hurt me any.
No.
Who does it hurt? But anyway, so it makes sense. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, we just have one more question. What can we learn from the ancient civilizations? What advice do they have for us? That's a good one.
Yeah. Simplicity. We are relying too much on gadgetry. In our understanding of ancient cultures, they talk about philosophy and in discussions, and they talk about love and war and whatever issue they're talking about, farming and this. They never talk about gizmos and gadgets.
Right.
And so they're saying, like, for us to balance our advanced understanding of so many things, but balance that with a more simple, holistic community type of life. Because, we do understand more about equality now, say, between the genders and between, ethnic groups and all that. So if we could balance that with a more community type of life, how, that would be such a beautiful blending if you think about it. Like, it
Right.
gets me excited just thinking about it. I'm like, wow, that'd be so nice. Okay, So, but we'll figure it out.
So,
And the accepting of the ways, of the, not wild ways, the natural ways. Like, we're so bent on, we have to have scientific proof. Show me the proof. Although people don't really, when people say show me the proof, what they really want is show me what most people believe and I'll just believe that. They don't really want scientific proof. They just want to know what they think is normal. That's what they want.
yeah.
But they're saying, you don't rely on your heart more, that's to know, that there's knowledge outside of scientific knowledge. Okay.
One more question.
Okay.
What kind of force moved the stone? The stones.
It feels like some kind, I don't know if I can name it. It kind of feels magnetic. It kind of feels resonance, magnetic resonance. Is there such a thing? I'd like to look that up.
Magnetic resonance.
It's almost like a force. You can almost like touch it. You can almost, it's not wind. No, it's some kind of, it's like a building up of energy. Like you've concentrate it and use it and guide it.
Magnetic resonance comes up more to do with imaging.
Mm-hmm.
It's a non test that physicians use to diagnose and treat medical conditions. MRI uses a powerful magnetic field, radio frequency pulses.
But there's something about resonate. I'd have to maybe look up the two words separately, because that's a phrase that people use. But maybe, you know what I mean. I'll have to, maybe I can figure that out. But it's something about. I keep getting something with resonating. I'm not a technical person. So.
But see, I think that would work. If you broke it down from the imaging, mm-hmm. It's magnetic field, and then there's some radio frequencies,
Yeah, I don't know.
And if they were using their friends, and they could do that.
It's like force gathered, and it's like corralled and focused, and then they apply it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like just out of thin air. It's gathered and used, gathered and directed to use.
Gotcha. So what was
magnetic is not, and as I said, magnetic is not quite the right word, but that's the closest I can come. Gravitational magnetic. There's something about the earth and so magnetic. Can you mix magnetic and gravity? What would that be? What would I don't know what that would be.
I don't either.
Because there's the and magnetic having to do with like the Earth's polar, like the Earth's alignment kind of a thing. So if that's considered magnetic, right? Yeah, it's something.
Yeah.
I might have to. It might be a different phrase that. Anyway, okay.
All right. Well, what was the significance of the Great Sphinx?
That was to show people, like, if you're coming from afar, you could see that Sphinx as you're approaching this town, area, whatever, complex.
Well,
like to show the majesty, to show the shoot, I don't have any water with me. To show the power and majesty of what you were entering, what you were approaching.
Yeah.
You know, like you have, like at a fancy house, you might have, you know, a lion at the door or at the gate, you know, that seemed to be, you know, you're entering a great home, you know, or door, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, you know, or it feels like there was more to it, like in the image that I if I remember, of how it looks now, you know, there's the Sphinx with, you know, part of the face broke off, and then there's like it's on a platform, but it feels like there were, if this is the platform, that there were, you know, the head, and then here's the column or whatever that it's on, that there were like steps, and there was like a plaza that went out from it, you know, that all out from it. It was much more, it wasn't just that thing sitting in the middle of the sand. There was, you know, from all directions as you were approaching, you're coming that way. And then there it was.
Cindy said that, you know, when you were talking about the magnetic resonance, just that maybe it's a similar concept to how the stones were moved.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to like harness that today, but it would be not, you know, it'd be a cool thing to, if somebody worked with it. You know, I mean, there are, you know, any of these things, it takes, you know, if you don't have a teacher to directly show you, you got to, you know, to figure it out would be some serious study and work. And I'd love to say that I could do it, but I don't know when. When I have time, you know. Anyway.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well,
I think we're done.
We're done. Yay. Yeah, I don't mind if we're a little shorter. So good night, everyone.
Good night.
See you next week for Oh, let's see. I got to figure that out.
For a surprise. Check us out on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay, I'm putting that to the top of my pile here. I thought I had it done, but I guess not. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yep.
All right, good night. Love you all.
Good night, everybody. Love you.